Everything is different now? The wide open land isn't just beautiful, it's dangerous. The Madison doesn't just bring us back to Montana, it drops us into a valley where the rules are even harsher, and survival isn't guaranteed. This is not the Yellowstone you remember. This is the start of something colder, darker, and far more personal. The Madison Valley isn't just a new location, it's a new world. While the Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone was powerful and well known, Madison feels hidden and forgotten. The landscape is still stunning, with mountains and rivers, but there's a colder edge to everything. The trailer shows fog rolling across empty fields, fences broken down, and horses running wild without anyone to stop them. This isn't about building an empire, it's about surviving one more season without losing everything. Right from the first few seconds of the trailer, you can feel the shift. There's no big family house or fancy trucks. Instead, we see a small wooden cabin surrounded by silence. The air feels heavier. The music in the trailer is slower, filled with low drums and deep strings, making you feel the pressure even before the first word is spoken. And when a voice finally breaks the silence, it's not calm, it's tired. Worn out. Like someone who has seen too much but still won't back down. In Yellowstone, there was a clear fight, land versus government, family versus outsiders. But in the Madison, the fight feels internal. It's about personal struggles. It's about old pain that never went away. The trailer shows a woman standing alone on a hill, staring at a burned tree. There's no dialogue, just wind, but you can feel that something was lost there. A home? A person? We don't know yet, but it pulls you in. There's also a scene where a man, most likely the lead character, sits at a table covered in letters and maps. He stares at a photograph of a young girl, then folds it and hides it inside his coat. It's clear this isn't just a story about land, it's about the people tied to it. The land might be harsh, but the memories are worse. Another shot shows a bar with only two people inside, both silent, both drinking slowly. One looks up at the other, and the tension is thick. There are no big fights or shootouts in this part of the trailer. Just small, heavy moments that say a lot without a word. It tells us the series is going for a slower, more emotional rhythm, where every glance matters and every silence carries weight. The lighting is another major clue to the shift in tone. Yellowstone had bright sunrises, golden fields, and glowing family dinners. In the Madison, most scenes are cloudy, cold, or lit by firelight. It makes everything feel more uncertain. There's danger in the shadows and sorrow in the past. Even when the sun shines, it feels pale, like it's struggling to warm the land. There's also an early scene where a young boy tries to fix a fence alone. His hands are shaking and the wire cuts his fingers, but he doesn't cry or call for help. He just keeps working, even as blood drips down. That one moment says a lot about the world we're entering. No one is coming to save you. If you want to survive here, you do it with your own two hands or you don't make it at all. And it's not just the people who are tough. The land fights back. There's a moment where a storm moves through the valley, shaking trees and knocking over sheds. It's not just weather, it feels like the world itself is angry. And in this world, nature doesn't care about your name, your bloodline, or your pain. Overall, the trailer for the Madison sets the tone clearly. This is going to be a slower, more emotional ride. It's less about flashy power moves and more about what's left behind when the power is gone. It's about old scars and new wounds. About people who don't trust anyone, not even themselves. If Yellowstone was about control, the Madison is about holding on. Holding on to land, to memory, to love, to anger. Sometimes all at once. This is a land where ghosts don't rest. They walk with you, and you either face them or get buried beside them. Not all bloodlines are famous. Not every ranch has a name carved in stone. In the Madison, the people may not carry the Dutton name, but their hearts burn just as fiercely. And in this series, legacy is not something inherited. It's something clawed out of the dirt, through grit, loss, and fire. The new characters aren't polished heroes. They're rough around the edges, scarred by life, and ready to do whatever it takes to survive in a valley that forgets no betrayer. Introduces us to a central figure, a man in his late 30s, sun-beaten face, quiet eyes, and a jaw clenched with history. He's not introduced with a speech or a heroic shot. Instead, we see him alone, digging something, maybe a grave, maybe a post hole, while a storm builds in the background. There's pain in his silence. Some fans are already calling him the ghost of Yellowstone, guessing he might be a hidden Dutton cousin or even the illegitimate son of a forgotten ranch hand. Whoever he is, the trailer makes one thing clear: he's running from something. And Madison Valley isn't giving him peace. Then there's the woman. Tall, sharp-eyed, with ash-colored hair tied back in a no-nonsense braid. She's seen riding. Alone at night, rifle across her lap, her horse panting from speed. Her name isn't spoken in the trailer, but the way others look at her suggests a deep, complicated past. One line spoken coldly from her lips echoes through the trailer. "You don't get to ask me where I've been." That sentence alone has sparked dozens of fan theories. Is she an ex-lover of a Yellowstone character, a fugitive, a former soldier? One thing's for sure: she doesn't need saving, and she's not afraid to shoot first. We also catch glimpses of a group of young ranchers, barely out of their teens, trying to hold together land left behind by their dead parents. They argue, they bleed. One throws a branding iron through a window. These aren't the stoic cowboys of old. They're angry, lost, and trying to build something real with nothing but scraps. One trailer moment shows them standing over a dead calf, arguing about whether to bury it or skin it for meat. It's raw. It's heartbreaking. It's survival, but not everyone is poor or broken in the Madison. A slick man in a sharp black coat appears midway through the trailer, stepping out of a polished car onto dusty ground. He's clean, smiling, and clearly doesn't belong. A land buyer, a corporate agent. A layer? He walks through the valley like it's already his. But his smile fades fast when he meets the locals. In one chilling shot, he finds a rattlesnake inside his car, coiled on the seat. Message received. A surprise comes in the form of a character with no lines at all, just one long, slow look at the camera. She's an older woman, maybe in her 70s, standing barefoot outside a burned-down home. Her presence is eerie. Some fans say she's the valley's keeper, others say she's just crazy. But her expression, calm, quiet, watching, stays. With you, there's a legend behind her. Maybe we'll learn it. Or maybe she is the legend, and we cannot ignore the younger girl shown briefly near the end of the trailer. She's maybe 10 years old, crouched beside a creek, whispering something to the water. No one else is around. Her clothes are torn, her hands dirty, but she's smiling. There's innocence there, but also something strange. Who is she? Why is she alone? And why does the trailer cut sharply after her whisper? Every face in the Madison carries weight. These are not extras. These are people with secrets, with grudges, with ghosts. And what makes them even more compelling is that we don't know who to trust. The trailer avoids clear labels. There are no obvious villains, no perfect heroes. Everyone is doing what they must. Everyone is hiding something. That's what makes this cast feel fresh and dangerous. In Yellowstone, loyalty and blood were strong, but in the Madison, even family ties might snap under pressure. These new characters bring chaos, vulnerability, and unpredictability. They aren't walking into the valley with confidence. They're walking into it with wounds in the valley. It doesn't heal you. It tests you more than anything. These characters aren't looking for power. They're looking for a place, for a reason to stay, to fight, to live. That emotional desperation hangs in every word, every stare, every silent moment in the trailer. You can feel their histories pressing on them like weight. And with every new face comes a new fire, quiet, burning, and ready to explode. The Madison trailer doesn't shout its secrets, it hides them. Beneath the wind and silence, between the glances and gravel crunching under boots, lies a story, waiting to detonate. While the visuals are slow and quiet, the meaning behind them is loud if you know where to look. This isn't just another Western saga. This is a ticking time bomb of buried truths, past sins, and betrayals that no one dares speak of. Yet the trailer opens on a slow zoom toward an empty ranch house. The windows are shattered. A rocking chair still sways as if someone just left. There's no dialogue, no faces, but a child's shoe lies in the dust by the doorway. That single image says everything. Someone left in a hurry, or someone never got the chance to leave at all. It hints at tragedy. Maybe a family destroyed. Maybe someone seeking revenge for what was lost. And that sets the emotional stage. This story is already bruised before it even begins. One of the most powerful shots in the trailer is just a hand and old, weathered hand holding a small silver key. The key is dropped into a well, and we never see the person's face. What was locked away? What did they want to forget? Or maybe they didn't want it found. It's such a small gesture, but in a show like the Madison, every small action is layered with meaning. Could it be a clue to hidden land documents? The name Dutton is never spoken in the Madison trailer, but you can feel it in every frame. Like a ghost in the valley, the legacy of Yellowstone lingers silently. Not through family crests or proud speeches, but through tension in the soil, through glances that seem to carry a century's worth of pain. This new series doesn't need to shout Dutton to connect to it. It's written in the land itself. The Madison is a spiritual continuation, a quieter, but no less powerful echo of the family that once ruled the Montana frontier. What sets this connection apart is how subtle it is. We don't see old family portraits or familiar ranch gates. Instead, we get moments that suggest a history tied to Yellowstone but twisted by time, loss, or betrayal. In one shot, we see a crumbling barn, its roof half gone, but the wall still carries a scorched brand barely visible, but shaped like something close to the Yellowstone Y. It's as if someone tried to erase the past, but couldn't. There's also a map shown in the trailer, marked with red X's and old land parcels. Some of those lines look strikingly familiar to longtime fans, like they border the old Dutton territories. That alone sparks theories. Is the Madison about the forgotten branch of the family, a lost cousin, an abandoned child? Or maybe someone who once had land ripped from them when Yellowstone rose to power. And then there's the land itself. The valley in the Madison feels untouched, raw, and waiting to be claimed. But if you listen closely to a voiceover line, they only left because the ground burned them back. You realize this land may have once been part of that larger fight. Perhaps what we're seeing is the result of a deal made long ago. Maybe the Duttons gave up this land or forced someone off it. That kind of wound doesn't heal. It festers across generations. One theory gaining traction is that the lead character is a blood Dutton, but one that John never acknowledged. Perhaps the product of a wartime romance or an affair buried to protect the family image. This could explain the character's bitterness, isolation, and refusal to speak the family name. It would also explain why he stares so long at old photographs, maybe, of a man who looks like John or a ranch that no longer belongs to him. Another powerful connection comes in the themes. Yellowstone was about power, protection, and sacrifice. The Madison feels like it's about abandonment, survival, and revenge. But those themes aren't opposites, they're reflections of the same struggle, just viewed through a cracked mirror. In one series, the family defends the land at all costs. In the other, someone left behind is asking why no one ever fought for their piece of it. The trailer teases this difference with a subtle scene, a faded newspaper clipping pinned to a wall. The headline, Dutton deal finalized. The date is years in the past, but in this present moment, it still causes rage. We see a man tear it down, crumple it, and toss it into the fire. This is not just a story about new characters. It's about those who feel they were erased from the story that Yellowstone told. Yet, despite all the distance, the Madison doesn't try to break away from Yellowstone, it expands it. It offers new soil to dig through, new skeletons to uncover. And maybe, just maybe, it sets the stage for eventual collisions. Could we see familiar faces one day? Beth? Rip? Case? Maybe not yet. But the door is open, and if this valley holds one truth, it's that the past is never truly buried. Even more interesting is the possibility that the Madison doesn't just run alongside Yellowstone, it might set the foundation for something even older. Some fans believe this show could dig deeper into the past of Montana itself. Maybe the valley holds clues to what Yellowstone became. Could this be where the first land wars were fought? Where the blood feud started? Where the true cost of legacy was first paid? One last moment in the trailer ties everything together. A lone rider crosses the valley, holding something tightly under his coat. As he reaches the ridge, he stops and looks down. The camera pans with him showing a vast, empty stretch of land. No houses, no signs, just raw, open earth. And then, he says in a whisper, "This land never forgot us. It just waited." That's what the Madison is at its core, a reminder. A reckoning, a missing chapter in the story Yellowstone never told. It doesn't carry the name. It doesn't need to. Because real legacy isn't in a surname, it's in the scars left behind, and the story's still waiting to be told.